Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Pokemon Anime Lookback. In this video, we will be discussing episode 2, which is entitled Pokemon Emergency. Our episode begins with a recap of what happened in the previous episode. While it seems somewhat unnecessary to recap the first episode in only the second episode, it is helpful just in case the audience was unable to catch the first episode when it aired. I find the narrator to have an excellent voice that is perfect for this kind of series. He definitely reminds me of the English dub narrator in Dragon Ball Z. After the recap, you are briefly introduced to Officer Jenny. She is putting the word out over a loudspeaker that Pokemon thieves are in the area. Ooh. She spies Ash and immediately assumes that he must be a Pokemon thief, but realizes her mistake when she sees how beat up they both are. She asks Ash for his ID, which he doesn't realize is part of the Pokedex feature set. After establishing his identity via Dexter, Officer Jenny busts out her bike and proceeds to drive over to the Pokemon Center with Ash, leaving Misty in the dust. You then see a shot of the wanted poster with the silhouetted Team Rocket members getting fished off the sign. This is our first introduction to Team Rocket, the ever-present villain group and comic relief of the series. They are presented in a fairly serious light at this point in the series, so it will be interesting to see how they develop from villainous to primarily comical characters. This is also the first time we see Meowth, and I can imagine that audiences were originally shocked to see a Pokemon that could actually talk and not just say its name. Jenny drives Ash straight through the front door of the Pokemon Center in spectacular fashion. Joy immediately takes action and calls for a stretcher, which is being brought in by Chansey, who function as Pokemon nurses. Joy chews out Ash a bit for not taking care of Pikachu properly, then goes to take care of the situation while Ash is told to go to the waiting room. After waiting for a bit, Ash calls his mother using a video phone. I must say, this technology is pretty awesome, especially for the late 90s. It basically functions like Skype for payphones, and the ringtone is particularly hilarious, and may or may not be a ringtone I have on my own phone. Ash's mom picks up and is surprised that Ash has made it all the way to Viridian City. This is because Ash's father apparently took 4 days to get there when he started his Pokemon training. She mentions that Ash's father will be surprised and that Ash is the apple of his eye. These casual mentions of Ash's father leads me to believe that we will eventually hear more about him, and I'm interested in seeing if that plot thread actually goes anywhere, or if we are continually left hanging because Pokemon is such a long-running series at this point. Ash's mom tries to encourage him and bids him goodnight. After hanging up with his mom, Ash spies a piece of Pokemon artwork on the wall that reminds him of the unknown legendary Pokemon he saw. He is interrupted in his thoughts by a phone call to the Pokemon Center. It turns out to be Professor Oak, who's checking on Ash's progress. He is disappointed that Ash hasn't caught any new Pokemon, but Ash excitedly declares that he saw the legendary Pokemon on the wall. But Oak dismisses this as being a mistake since trainers have searched their whole lives looking for it. Their call is interrupted by Oak receiving his anchovy, spinach, and pineapple pizza. Ew. Suddenly, Misty barges in with the charred remains of her bike looking for Ash. She demands that Ash pays for a new bike, but Ash sadly states that he can't do anything till Pikachu is better. Nurse Joy comes out at this time to give Ash the good news that Pikachu will be fine, but just needs some rest. While Misty is still upset, she tells Ash to take care of Pikachu and they'll settle up later. Yeah, like that's gonna happen. Officer Jenny's voice comes booming from the town's loudspeakers, telling the citizens that Pokemon thieves have just been spotted in town. Team Rocket descends upon the Pokemon Center to steal all of the Pokemon. They send Coughing down to make a smokescreen for them to appear in a theatrical fashion, reciting their motto for the very first time. I am actually quite fond of the motto they use. While it doesn't actually make sense in the context of what they are really doing, that just adds to the comedic element of it. Plus, their uniforms are just snazzy. Ash declares that they will never get Pikachu, but Team Rocket scoffs at this and says that they aren't interested in an electric rat. This is humorous, obviously, because they spend the rest of the series trying to steal Pikachu after this encounter. So it's interesting in a way because this episode is pivotal in understanding why they even care about Pikachu in the first place. Ekans and Coughing are sent out to cut the power, but Joy declares that they have Pika Power. Haha, I get it. Which is a group of Pikachu that act as a generator for the Pokemon Center. This is a cute idea, I guess, and gives you another look at what Pikachu are capable of, in case you didn't already know at this point. Joy sends out an emergency message to the Pewter City Pokemon Center and begins transporting the Pokeballs. Coughing and Ekans disrupt this process, and Ash is forced to send out a random Pidgey to fight them. Ekans scares it off, though. Ash then throws an empty Pokeball, then a Rattata, which is also scared off by Ekans. This forces Misty to send out a Goldeen, which is, well, not very effective, as any Smash Bros. Player knows. She then recalls the Goldeen and states that she was just warming up. She whispers to Ash and tells him to get Pikachu out of there. As he's running out, he trips and the stretcher hits the burnt bike, which wakes Pikachu up. Suddenly, all of the Pikachu appear and dogpile onto Ash's Pikachu and shock Team Rocket in a large electric blast. This has the bonus added effect of helping Pikachu recover. Pretty sweet. Pikachu has a conversation with Ash, which Ash somehow understands to mean that Pikachu needs more electric power. He grabs the bike and starts pedaling to build power up in the light for Pikachu. Pikachu harnesses this power and delivers another huge electric shock to Team Rocket. Coughing's gas ignites from the electric shock, which utterly destroys the Pokemon Center. Whoa. Team Rocket somehow escapes on their hot air balloon and declare that they will somehow capture Pikachu, leading into what will eventually become their sole purpose on the show. Come daybreak, Joy is chatting with her sister at the Pewter City Pokemon Center, relieved that all of the Pokemon were transferred safely. Misty and Ash started on their way to Pewter City through the Viridian Forest when Misty is suddenly freaked out by a Caterpie. Ash brings out a Pokeball and the episode ends with Ash throwing it at the Caterpie in hopes of catching it. This is an episode that helps to set the groundwork for seasons to come. We are introduced to our weekly antagonists and their sole purpose in the show. We are also introduced to the characters of Officer Jenny and Nurse Joy, and get a glimpse at the fact that all Nurse Joys look the same because they are related to each other. Misty's character is fleshed out a bit more in regards to the type of Pokemon she uses, as well as her purpose for traveling with Ash. We also learn that Ash is able to communicate with and understand what Pikachu is saying to some extent. Because of all these things we learn, I really like this episode. The establishment of the plot and character threads that we will be seeing for the next few seasons leads me to think that they were really building up to some interesting storylines and plot developments that may have been resolved a lot sooner, or at all, if the series didn't turn out to be so popular as it was. If Pokemon's popularity had waned after the first few years and the anime had actually ended, might we have seen an actual conclusion to who Ash's father was? Perhaps, but maybe not. I think it's fun to speculate about, though, and I am looking forward to seeing what I may have missed when I last watched these episodes as a kid. Next episode, Ash catches a Pokemon, or two, Team Rocket reappears, and Misty hates bugs. Thanks for watching, and stay average.